favorite class. It starts off with just. Good evening. Welcome and thank you for joining us in an extremely unexpected manner this year to honor a remarkable group of talented physicians who have survived the rigors of residency training in the specialty of family medicine. I'm Dr. Cynthia Kegowitz, the Program Director of the HonorHealth Family Medicine Residency Program. Usually we bring our graduates up onto a stage, but in the interest of truly maintaining our new norm of 6 feet apart, you can see the graduates and our faculty sitting right here in front of me. I'm going to ask each graduate to stand when I say their name so the entire viewing audience can acknowledge each of you. Dr. Bradley Glenn. Dr. Travis Glenn. Dr. Steve Houston. Dr. Heather McCall. Dr. Jasjeet Saini. Dr. Jeremy Webb. Dr. Sarah Wipashinsky. I want also to have Dr. Kimberly Ariza stand. Kim began residency in July 2017 as an OG member of the class of 2020. Shortly after beginning her second year of residency, Dr. Ariza was diagnosed with lymphoma. Kim subsequently began 9 months of grueling treatments and an extended medical leave of absence from the residency. Due to requirements needed to complete residency training, Dr. Ariza will now officially graduate in February and will walk with the class of 2021. Kim is truly the heart of this class of 2020, and her journey has served as a model of strength, tenacity, and courage. We are thrilled to have her here tonight to celebrate with us and to remind us all of the need for compassion, friendship, and perseverance in our personal and professional lives. Before we begin handing out the graduation certificates, I want to take a couple of minutes to honor the graduating class and recognize some of their extraordinary characteristics as a group over the last 3 years. For the graduates, their families, and me, today is a day of celebration, excitement, and I suspect true happiness. Happiness of completing 3 years of rigorous medical training that has culminated in becoming, quote, real family medicine doctors. Having had the honor of leading and working with each of these outstanding physicians, I also know that the last 3 years have been filled with challenges for each of them. As I reflect on this graduating class, there is one word that repeatedly comes to mind: toughness. Toughness is described as the state of being strong enough to withstand adverse conditions and the ability to deal with hardship or to cope in difficult situations. Its precise definition is, quote, absorbing the maximum amount of energy without fracturing. Maximum energy that may disguise itself as sleep deprivation, encounters with difficult patients, seemingly endless roadblocks to providing optimal patient care within our current healthcare environment, difficulties with personal or work relationships, health problems, financial stressors, or perhaps being a doctor in the midst of a global pandemic. During residency, there's always more energy that needs to be absorbed. So many of you know that the members of this class are Harry Potter fans. Some can even be elevated to the status of Potterheads. Although this class could outquote me for sure, there are a few lines from Harry Potter that have always stayed with me, and one epitomizes the last 3 years for this class. In the Goblet of Fire, Dumbledore said, "We are only as strong as we are united, as weak as we are divided." Staying united has been a prevailing tenet for this class from day one. You'll notice that they are all wearing the same color tonight, and some may think that's a coincidence or a frivolous last-minute decision, but this class, as with every decision, challenge, success, they have been united in spirit, heart, voice, and toughness. And let's not forget their laughter, laughter that truly brings joy to your heart and tears to your eyes. Absorbing maximum energy. Each of the individuals here tonight have faced their own unique periods of stress over the past 3 years. In fact, not one of them has made it through residency training without at least one major stressful life event, whether it be a marriage, the birth of a child, their own personal health challenges, significant family hardships and illness, or family tragedies, including the loss of precious loved ones. Add to those the stress of being a resident physician in the midst of a pandemic that has taken us all to the limits of personal and professional well-being. Yet each graduate has handled their stressors and difficulties with strength, resolve, and integrity. Never once did they waver in their commitment to their patients or each other. These graduates have exemplified the medical principles of compassionate and respectful care, commitment to the highest quality of patient care, dedication to their program and community, and devotion to their own professional development and wellness. It has been inspiring to watch a group of individuals who did not know each other 3 years ago, except for the Glens, of course, develop into such an incredibly cohesive team that has served as the backbone of strength for each other, a strength and a toughness that has never fractured. They are an extraordinary example of personal and team resilience for all of us. Had to do it once. I am proud to have been a part of your training in your lives these past 3 years. It's my sincere pleasure to congratulate each of you on your completion of residency training, your commitment to the specialty of family medicine, and for being inspiring physician leaders. As another Harry Potter favorite of mine, Sirius Black, said, "The ones who love us never really leave us. HonorHealth and your residency family will always be here for you." So now I will be inviting our faculty advisors individually to the stage to say a few words about each graduate and to present their advisees with their graduation certificate. I'd like to first ask Dr. Andrea Darby-Stewart, Associate Director, to come up to the podium.
Good evening. It gives me great pleasure to introduce our first graduate from the HonorHealth Family Medicine class of 2020, Dr. Bradley Glenn. Dr. Glenn was born in Texas and received his undergraduate degree in Spanish and biology from Baylor University. Prior to choosing a career in medicine, he spent several years in California as a producer of popular TV shows. And while he loved the hands-on work and interactions with colleagues, he thought there might be something else to do with his life. As he considered his future work and desire to serve the community, he made a major life transition to attend medical school at Ross University School of Medicine in Dominica. We were delighted when he and his husband, Travis, matched with the program. During Brad's training, he's exhibited a passion for family medicine in its full spectrum, but most especially for hospital-based medicine. He's channeled his love for medicine and patient connection into excellence in teaching, which was recognized by students at the University of Arizona School of Medicine, Phoenix, where he received an award for the best resident educator. Brad was elected chief resident and has served in that capacity over the last year, while also continuing to hone his educational skills by completing the University of Arizona Faculty Development Fellowship. It's my hope that he's going to be able to use these skills in his future practice to lift up others to the joys and challenges of our specialty. Brad and his husband Travis are currently exploring their options for their first positions after residency training, and right now, as you'll see soon, Maui is very high on the list of possibilities. And I'm sure that's going to allow both another adventure in professional development as well as ample opportunity to enjoy a multitude of outdoor activities, including biking. So my challenge to Brad is to see if he can bike the entire perimeter, all 727 miles around the island, which would nearly double the miles he logged riding from San Francisco to Los Angeles. You may need a gravel bike for this. I understand some of the roads are a little less than optimal for road bikes. Please join me in congratulating Dr. Bradley Glenn on his residency graduation and his upcoming adventures. Our next graduate, Dr. Jeremy Webb, obtained his Bachelor's of Science in Biology and Chemistry from Western Kentucky University and attended medical school at the University of Louisville School of Medicine in Louisville, Kentucky. He and his new bride, Shannon, packed up their espresso machine, bikes, and gardening equipment, among other things, and moved from the Green Hills of Kentucky to slightly more prickly Valley of the Sun in 2017 to join our program. I spent quite a bit of time trying to come up with the right Shakespearean quote for Jeremy, who happens to be descended from Shakespeare's grandmother, Abigail Webb. And what I landed on were Hamlet's instructions to his fellow actors. Suit the action to the word and the word to the action. This seemed most appropriate for a physician who's calm, deliberate, and thoughtful in his words and actions. Dr. Webb is a physician who's unstinting in the time that he'll give to a patient who needs an extra moment in order to understand or make a difficult decision about their health or their well-being. I've watched him patiently explain medical concepts to struggling medical students. He has an internal motivation to be helpful, accomplished, and of service to his faith, his family, and his community. It's been a pleasure to see Jeremy grow not only as a physician, but also as a husband and father to his nearly 2-year-old son, Ned, over the last several years. I'm in awe of anybody who embarks on the journey of parenthood during residency training. Neither is actually a challenge for the faint of heart. Dr. Webb and his family will be returning to Kentucky after graduation, where he will join an ambulatory family practice in Paducah. Please join me in congratulating Dr. Webb on his many personal and professional accomplishments. And last but certainly not least, for my advisees this year, please allow me to introduce Dr. Sarah Whipzinski, or Dr. Whip as she coaches her patients to call her. Dr. Whip is a native Arizonan who grew up in Mesa. She obtained her bachelor's degree in biology from Scripps College in Claremont, California, and then did one of the bravest or craziest things that I think somebody can do. She volunteered to be a middle school math and science teacher for 2 years with the Teach for America program in Phoenix. We're fortunate that she decided to pursue a career in medicine and complete her degree at the University of Arizona College of Medicine, Phoenix. She and her husband, Tim, welcomed their first child, Michael, during medical school, and their second child, Lily, in January this year. Sarah embraces the role of family physician. She's passionate about the continuous and comprehensive care that we provide our patients over their lifetimes. And this is evidenced by her pursuit of a certification to become an international lactation consultant, as well as her advocacy regarding advanced directives during her work with the American Medical Association. As the resident quality and patient safety champion during her second year of training, Dr. Whip actively managed our PAP and COLPO registry and provided regular updates and education to our clinical teams. She develops meaningful relationships with her patients and is always excited to let us know some interesting facts about the people that she cares for in our clinic. I'm curious if she's shared her interesting fact with her patients that she can rotate her wrists 360 degrees, apparently. I have never seen this. You might need to demonstrate. For her willingness to show up and do the work to genuinely advocate for patients and colleagues, she was nominated by our faculty for the Arizona Academy of Family Physicians Brazy Award. Arizona residents have been very fortunate to benefit from Dr. Whip's compassionate care. However, Sarah and her family are turning over a new chapter and moving to Oshkosh, Wisconsin in the coming months, where she'll begin ambulatory family practice with Ascension Medical Group. I really hope that Sarah, Tim, and their children enjoy the change of seasons and the many hikes through crisp fall leaves and maybe even a little snowshoeing. And I'm certain that their family will rise to the challenge of this transition as gracefully as they've managed to navigate residency training. Please congratulate Dr. Whipzinski on her accomplishments in graduation. And now I'd like to invite Dr. Darlene Moyer to introduce her graduates.
Tonight, my one and only graduate is Dr. Travis Glenn. And Travis, you would have been so disappointed in me if I stood up here and delivered a dry list of your accomplishments, and we both know that it would never do you justice. So I can't do that. Instead, I know that you love a good story. So I'm going to try to weave in a secret theory that I have about Travis. I am a big fan of the show Survivor, and my theory is that if Travis were ever lucky enough to get on that show and his co-contestants weren't smart enough to vote him out first, he's clearly going to win the $1 million. The theme of Survivor is outwit, outplay, and outlast. So let me start with outwit. Travis knows a lot of things about a lot of things. When it comes to learning medicine, he has pushed himself out of his comfort zone and developed his skills to practice full-spectrum family medicine. He voluntarily signed up for extra OB, ICU, and rural training. He developed leadership skills by serving as the chair of the HonorHealth House Staff Leadership Council. He has a passion for learning HIV medicine and LGBTQ+ care and has been willing to share that knowledge with all of us. I also know that he knows a lot of things outside of medicine because he's made it his personal mission to share them with me throughout the last 3 years. Without my advisor check-ins with Travis, I would never have learned about Pixar theories, watched the newest Lady Gaga video, or known that there are 12 seasons of RuPaul. When it comes to outplay, it would be all about Travis's social game. He has this amazing way of remembering details about people around him. This past year, an applicant tested him by asking him if he knew his fellow residents' significant others' first names. And when he told me this story, I just laughed because not only does Travis know them, he knows what they do, what they like to eat, who their pets are, and probably what their workout was yesterday. He extends this skill to his patients as well. He gets to know what makes them unique. He helps them live their best life, no matter what that looks like to them. And the other asset to his social game would be that Travis is not afraid to talk about sexual health. Last year, he even let me co-author an article about geriatric sexual health with him, and I suspect that this conversation skill would make him a blast around the campfire. For the outlast component, it would really be about how good he is at so many other things that apply to Survivor. Given his talent with designing residency-wide scavenger hunts, he would find all the idols. He swam in the Olympic trials so nobody can beat him at a water challenge. He's always willing to address disparities, biases, and talk about the elephant in the room so tribal council would be a breeze for him. And Travis routinely goes longer than 39 days without shaving or cutting his hair, so we know he would look amazing at the end. And even his career plans support my theory. His leading job opportunity involves moving to an island where he hopes to open a practice with his husband Brad in Maui. Travis, I'm so proud of you and your accomplishments and glad I got to be your advisor for the last 3 years. Please join me in congratulating Dr. Travis Glenn. Next, Dr. Rakowski will be introducing his graduates.
So our next graduate is Dr. Steve Houston. Steve is a native of Utah, from the small town of Leamington. And I looked this up. When I say small, I mean small. Leamington had and has about 200 people living in it, and I think that's still accurate. In college, Steve majored in biological engineering at Utah State University. Engineering is very detail-oriented, and I think that background is demonstrated in Steve's methodical and organized approach to medicine and his careful evaluation and treatment of his patients. After medical school in Pennsylvania, Steve, of course, joined us in Scottsdale. I think we all recognize that Steve is somewhat quiet and reserved. He is not the flashiest or most vocal of our graduates. You guys can decide about who is. Just saying. But that's fine, and maybe the reason that he became my advisee. I get quiet and reserved. I also appreciate Steve's steady and consistent dedication and commitment to his education and the progress that he has made. And I appreciate how he has made my role as his advisor an absolute pleasure. Steve Lacey and their children will be relocating to Hickory, North Carolina, where Steve will be working for Wake Forest Baptist Health. And a couple of random items I want to bring up before I close. One of Steve's interests is baking multi-layered cakes. Now just note, I have not been offered a sample of any of his cakes, but I won't hold that against you, okay? Steve believes also that pecans improve almost any dessert. Now, just a theory here. North Carolina is a neighbor to Georgia. Georgia is the leading pecan-producing state in the country. And Hickory is less than 50 miles from the Georgia border. So hence the question on everyone's mind, or maybe not, is that really the reason you're moving to Hickory, North Carolina? I'm just wondering. So please join me in extending our congratulations and sincere wishes for continuing future success to Dr. Steve Houston. Okay, our next presenter is Dr. Dimitri Bisk.
It is my pleasure to introduce Dr. Heather McCall. When I first started as a faculty member 3 years ago, I was assigned only one advisee. But even with that, I was a bit nervous with the responsibility. Shortly after, though, I had my first meeting with Heather. We spoke about goals, we discussed how her intern year was going, and we went through her evaluations from her various clinical rotations, one of which said, "Heather is a standout. She has a superior grasp of medical concepts and exceptional procedural skills. She connects with patients, staff, and fellow physicians. She is reliable and professional." I came away thinking, wow, this advisor role is going to be easy. And truly, what makes Heather stand out is her drive and passion for patient care. Prior to attending Marian University College of Medicine, she worked in an emergency department as a tech in Compton, California. So it's not all surprising that in our advisor meetings, she would often talk to me about possibly working in an ER after residency or even pursuing work in an ICU. And when the pandemic occurred, Heather was one of the first in line to volunteer to be in the hospital. She has definitely found her calling in hospital medicine and has an affinity for taking care of patients that are the sickest and need her the most. Looking back at the last 3 years, it's gone by surprisingly fast. When starting out residency, it seems a lot like running a marathon, which I can now say Heather has completed both. It takes drive, endurance, commitment, and of course, patience. I apologize, I was just trying to get one lame pun in just for Heather. But joking aside, watching Dr. McCall complete this marathon has been an honor. It has been incredible to watch her growth as a physician and a leader. It is not surprising that she was elected as the Resident Association President in her second year and Chief Resident in her third year. Heather has been dedicated to her fellow residents and to the program. She is always willing to lend a helping hand, provide support to her colleagues, and of course provide much needed laughter. I can't summarize her experience better than what she herself said when asked, "What is the most important accomplishment you'll take away from residency?" And she wrote, "The lifelong friendships that develop by learning the importance of working with and for each other." I just want to end it with this. I feel fortunate to have gotten to know Dr. McCall during her time with us. And as you guys have noticed, we try to share interesting facts about all of our graduates. And although these aren't the ones that Heather picked, I felt like a couple more needed to be added to the list. One of which is mostly just a talent of hers. Heather can know a patient's exact age without ever looking into their chart. Another unique fact that also speaks to that drive and endurance I had mentioned earlier is that even though she's allergic to avocados, she still pushes through it and eats them. And lastly, the fun fact that she did pick is that she hates walking on grass because it's itchy, which is lucky for us and probably the reason she decided to stay here in Arizona. Please join me in congratulating Dr. Heather McCall in all of her accomplishments and wish her luck as she embarks in her new journey as a hospitalist at Banner Estrella. Our next presenter is Dr. Zayas Bazan.
Hello, everyone. I have the pleasure of introducing our final graduate of the evening, Dr. Jasjeet Saini. Now, many of you might not know this, but I've actually met Jasjeet on a few different occasions. I met Jazz for the first time during orientation as her residency experience began. I was immediately taken by her intellectual curiosity, hard work, and positive attitude. She was very professional and shined on all of her rotations. I was looking through some of her early evaluations, and there were some comments that stuck out that summarize the Jazz I knew very well. One of them mentioned, Jasjeet is a bright and self-motivated intern. She presented all patients in a logical manner and knew how to itemize problem lists from most to least critical problems. She looked up what she didn't know and knew how to research standards of care beyond up-to-date references. She was very professional and compassionate with patients. So this is the Jazz I knew for months, and the Jazz that had all the tools to be a great physician. During the winter of her intern year, however, I met her again. She had presented a patient to me, and as we entered the room, I was caught by surprise in a good way. Up until then, I'd always seen the professional Dr. Saini. The Dr. Saini that was studious, professional, and would always give me the evidence-based answer. However, as we entered her patient's room this day, I met the Dr. Saini that her patients had known all along. She laughed with this patient, they joked back and forth, and he really thought the world of her. She had established trust and shown a side of herself that in turn allowed this patient to lay his worries and fears at her feet to help him through a difficult situation. I've met Dr. Saini several more times since then. Each meeting has revealed a new facet of her personality and her professional bearing that has helped shape her into the high-functioning physician that I know today. Her healthy inquisitiveness, empathy for her patients, and compassion to go the extra mile to effect a personal change in their lives has earned her a loyal patient following and has made an immeasurable impact. Sadly for us, but exciting for her, Jasjeet will be moving to Portland, Oregon with her significant other at the end of her training. She will have a short commute every day as she joins the Vancouver Clinic as their newest family physician in Vancouver, Washington. So please join me in congratulating Dr. Jasjeet Saini on the completion of her training.
Thanks, Dr. Z. That was really sweet.
So now I'm going to welcome Dr. Sam Titler to the stage to present the Society of Teacher Family Residents. Wow, I butchered that. Society of Teacher Family Medicine's Resident Teacher Award.
Thank you, Dr. Zayas-Bazan. Well, first I would like to congratulate all of you graduates. I am honored to present the Resident Teacher Award this year. This is an award given to an exemplary future teacher in family medicine. It's given to a resident that has demonstrated an interest in teaching their peers, medical students, and patients. A physician that's valued as a teacher and a leader in the community. Based on my observation here since starting at HonorHealth, I want to say that all of you graduates do a great job teaching our students and us, and your dedication to your patients is unmatched. You're all great teachers, and I hope that you continue to learn and teach throughout your career. This particular resident makes it a priority to teach, is usually the first to complete an evaluation for medical students, and has most recently completed the faculty development program offered at University of Arizona. I will read out one of the feedback responses directed to this resident by a medical student. He's wonderful to work with. It is clear that he enjoys teaching, and I felt like I was a valued member of the team when I worked with him. He created a respectful environment where I felt I could contribute my ideas and he could provide helpful feedback. I am honored to present the 2020 Family Resident Teacher Award to Dr. Travis Glenn. And now I would like to introduce Dr. Alethea Turner, who will be presenting the Resident Scholarship Award.
Hi, guys. Each year, the Association of Family Medicine Residency Directors recognizes a resident within each group for their accomplishments in scholarly activity. This award allows us to honor an outstanding resident who has shown interest in and has dedicated time towards family medicine research. This year's recipient of the AFMRD Resident Award for Scholarship has done just that. His efforts to better the field of family medicine and to promote high quality and equitable care for all patients has been noticed. This resident has given 13 talks over the course of his residency training here at HonorHealth, topics ranging from bias in healthcare and emotional intelligence to providing the best care for vulnerable patients. He has also written and submitted articles to a number of publications and has presented case reports in the form of scientific posters at both local and national medical conferences. Additionally, he spent 6 months working toward improving screening rates for colorectal cancer among our clinic patients, an effort that aimed to change the system and streamline the process for screening and scheduling colonoscopies. As we all know very well, change takes time, energy, and commitment, and it is no secret that residency consumes a lot of time and energy. But nothing has gotten in the way of this resident's commitment toward family medicine scholarship and advocacy. Please join me in congratulating this year's recipient of the Resident Award for Scholarship, Dr. Travis Glenn. At this time, I'd like to welcome Dr. Sarah Wibzinski to the podium.
So this year, the class of 2020 would like to present the Teacher of the Year Award to Dr. Samuel Titler. While you're new to our residency, you've seamlessly integrated into our resident family. You've brought your wide array of knowledge and experience to the inpatient, outpatient, and OB settings. You've made us all feel comfortable and respected and treated us with the same respect that you treat your attending colleagues. You've set an example for us for continued learning and teaching that we will take into our future roles. Additionally, we appreciate your infectious laugh and the fact that you're the first attending who laughs at our jokes as much as we do. We've enjoyed working with you during our last year of residency and know that all of the classes moving forward will benefit from your knowledge, hard work, positive attitude, and sense of humor. Congratulations. Do we have the flowers
Thank you so much, everyone.
Dr. Travis Glenn. We know his name by now.
I know, and I was supposed to have a serious start to this, so I'll get into character again. Please tell me you haven't given up yet. The words transitioned into one of those cinematic moments where I started to fall backwards into the black void, and his voice just echoed around me, repeating, "Given up yet, given up yet." I was only snapped to in time to see him, or with his sigh, in time to see him hang his head and shake it in disappointment. I had just asked the chair of a medicine department to ask me, or to write a letter of recommendation for me for my residency application for family medicine. He was someone who I looked up to and considered a mentor. He was an alumnus of my medical school, and I was doing a sub-I with him at his hospital. I made it through the next few minutes of conversation somehow and was able to confirm that he would write me a strong letter of recommendation, as we are instructed to do, and then left his office. But after leaving his office, I just kept wondering, what did he expect me to say to that, and what did he want me to do? It is no secret that family medicine doctors are underappreciated, that there are still many medical schools without family medicine departments throughout the country. Some people, including other physicians, don't really get what it is we are or what we can do as family physicians. Family medicine fell into this trap of letting other people brand us and control our narrative. With their branding, most people think that our residency is just easy hours in an outpatient clinic, writing referrals to other specialists who will do the medical management for us. They think that family medicine is for the people who can't do internal or OB or insert literally whatever specialty of the person you're talking to. But if that were the case, none of us would be in this room and none of us would be in family medicine. And honestly, that couldn't be further from the truth. We have spent the last 26,280 hours dedicated to all patients and their whole being. When we walk into a delivery, we are the only ones who can take care of the laboring mother, the new bebe, and then dad when he passes out, because deliveries are not what they seem to be on the movies. More than most, our training allows us to address the complexities of mental and social health and their interplay of physical health throughout a patient's entire life, from pre-cradle to grave, as some might say. And the reason that other people have put us into this box is because they don't know, and as is human nature, when we don't know or understand something, we try to distance ourselves from it. But all hope is not lost, for we are part of the #family revolution, FM revolution, if you will. We are reclaiming our narrative and reasserting ourselves as leaders in academic medicine, clinical excellence, and more. Like all revolutions, it's not just one group of people or one class. Raising a child takes a village, and training a physician is no different. Our village just looks a little different, and ours was spread out between Hoyser and HonorHealth Osborne and some other places in between. And we would not be the physicians that we are today without each and every person that we interacted along the way. To the staff at the clinic and the hospital, but especially to our Hoyser team, your tireless support of us on our journey did not go unnoticed. You helped us care for our patients and provided us a strong foundation. Thank you. To the other 4 classes of residents with whom we've worked in our training, we are better because of you. Thank you. To our families, I do not know how you put up with us sometimes, especially our co-residents with children. I really don't know how you did it. You have selflessly sacrificed and endured medical school and now residency, or approximately 23 years of education and training. You have allowed us to chase our dreams. You've given us a shoulder to rest our sleepy heads on and full plates of food to nourish us. We are only here because of our support systems. And I want to take an extra special thank you to Nick and Sophia, Lacey, Jack, Felix, and Lucy, Jason, Shannon and Ned, and Tim, Michael, and Lily. Your unwavering support of not just your partners, but of all of us, never went unnoticed. To the faculty, we are so thankful for the time and the effort that you have put into us and our patients. You helped demonstrate the highest caliber of care and professionalism. You helped lead by example, and your dedication and development was a steadfast presence from day one. While at times our personalities were overwhelming, especially mine, you never lost sight of the physicians that we could be, despite our silly dispositions. You have embraced the FM revolution with your work at the local, regional, and national levels. So in keeping with the classic trope of thanking each of you individually and working with our reclaiming of narratives, I want to help restore another lost narrative, the beautiful simplicity that is a haiku. And for anyone who needs a brief reminder of what a haiku is, I will give you my favorite example, author unknown. Haikus are easy, but sometimes they don't make sense. Refrigerator. So remember this 575 example as we embark on our haiku reclaiming, individual thanking journey together. Also, dear listeners, in case you did not notice, some of our faculty have names that are longer than 5 syllables. Makes it a little hard. So you'll hear nicknames or abbreviations or the like. First, Dr. Titler. New you may be to us here, your impression lasts. Dr. Bisk is next. Always with us you will find space to be goofy. Dr. Moyer asks for more jokes to be sent out. Loud, wonderful laugh. Turner, turns. Without essential evidence, there's an apostrophe there, no emails I'd get. On to ADS. How can one person contain so much in their brain? Don't miss JZB, delicious food he will make. Good in my belly. Dr. Rakowski, the common sense no frills dad, we won't disappoint. And lastly, to Kegs, the curator of it all, job perfectly done. Last but certainly not least, to my class, Kim, Brad, Heather, Steve, Jasjeet, Sarah, and Jeremy. It's hard to believe how far we've come in the last few years. It seems like just yesterday that Brad and I, when we had Facebook, were putting your emails in, trying to find any information out about you that we could. We've been through almost every major life event together. Weddings, funerals, births of a few babies, and even through a cancer treatment. We've gotten to see each other at our best and at our worst, and thankfully we've had a lot more of the best. I could not have imagined taking this journey with anyone else by my side. I am fortunate to have you as friends and as colleagues, and your patients are fortunate to have you as doctors. I would go on, but then I'd start to cry, and I'm an ugly crier, and nobody wants to see that. So I will leave it with this. You are superstars, changing the world through action. I just think you're great. I believe that family medicine is the future, that we are the future. And working with this amazing group of educators and colleagues has only strengthened my resolve. We are the change that the system needs. We are the ones who can be the voice for our patients. We will slowly but surely reclaim our narrative and show the world the, do it with me, FM revolution. We'll work on it later. If I could go back to that room and show that physician what it is that I see and what we've done together, I think he would understand. We haven't given up. We've only just gotten started. Thank you, congratulations, and love from the bottom of my heart.
Everyone left their speeches up here, so me, fine. So that concludes our formal virtual graduation ceremony for the HonorHealth Osborne Family Medicine Residency Class of 2020. Thank you all for joining us this evening, and please stay healthy and safe. Okay, that's it.